Hello, Salmon. Good evening. Good evening, good sir. Vote skip. Don't you like the Umineko themed intro, Salmon? Anyway, I'm once again joined by Callum.
Yep. Back again.
Salmon's once again on 3 hours of sleep.
That doesn't sound sustainable. I feel like you should
sounds pretty unsustainable.
Do something about that.
It's not good for you, Salmon. You need to take it easy, mate. Take care of yourself.
Have you heard of chloroform?
Start the story so I can sleep. You need BDSM.
You really messed up saying BDSM.
BDSM. True. Okie dokie, let's start. Here we go. Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt.
Genji-sama.
Genji-sama.
Did
Beatrice-sama really return?
I don't know.
Shall I inform the master?
That is not necessary. If she truly has returned, she will eventually appear before the master of her own accord. Furthermore, she is a fickle person. It would be pointless to report to the master, only to find that she does not appear.
I wonder if this means the master's ceremony has already begun.
Probably. However, that has nothing to do with furniture like us. We must continue to return the favor we received from the master until our final moments.
Yes. That is furniture's duty. The thunder crashed once more, except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky. Nothing could be seen out of the window but the darkness of the night. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, those that are not human rule when the sun is down. The darkness of night that now surrounded Rokenjima was ruled by another master, not the Ushiromiya family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Can the weather change how people act? You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. Can confirm I believe in this. I always get headaches when it's cloudy.
Oh, sure you do.
For some time now, Everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere, but any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled by the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake, accompanied by pear sherbet. Goda-san enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as this final dish was presented, but I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent. The weather was horrible, and the identity of the one who'd lent Maria an umbrella remained a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of a meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goda-san, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke.
My. What a waste that the dinner Goda works so hard to create has met with such a gloomy atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. It just feels like nothing would taste good today. Oh, I'd like to know why you feel that way. Later on, I'll do all I can as your older brother to help cheer you up.
Aunt Eva grimaced slightly. I had already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing. Apparently there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. Both Aunt Eva and my dad aren't looking too happy. Really? I don't think so. I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interested.
Well, our adult conversation got a little complicated. It isn't something kids like you need to worry about, Battler. Isn't that right, Natsui-san, Kirie-san?
Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness, so I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kirie-san, the people he had directed his comment to, ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while us kids were away, but it reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when we arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi's comment was ignored by the other adults, and an awkward silence fell over the room, Kirie-san spoke up.
You were talking about how the kids' careers would turn out. Such as what lies in your future, Battler-kun. Will you just drift on to college? Wouldn't that be a little disheartening as a starting line for the long race of life?
Hey, wait a sec. Kirie-san, if you start talking about something like that in the middle of a meal, I won't digest well and we'll all end up getting constipated.
That's right, that's right. You were talking about Battler-kun and Jessica-chan's careers. You've got to think seriously about the future.
Hideyoshi heartily agreed as if they really had been talking about that, but that was probably wrong. Kirei-san had obviously been trying to change the subject. However, if Kirei-san had determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Eva and Dad's bad moods. At long last, the serving cart returned, filled with coffee and tea. Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan served it to everyone. Goda-san then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner of my life. It was a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been under the best conditions.
Ugh. George Oni-chan, is dinner over now? Over?
Yes. With this, dinner is finished. Don't be rude. Stay in your seat and calmly drink up.
Ugh.
Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. She'd been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George Anarchy that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she'd set under her seat, never having left it even while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior. What's that? Where did you get it? George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Battler noticed too. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have brought as a prank. Maria-chan, what is that? It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too.
What happened, Natsuine-san? What is that?
Maria, where did you pick that up? An envelope has Kinzo-san's. When Nanjo muttered that, even us kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Ushiromiya family's head's custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo.
What is an envelope like that doing here? Now that's an interesting thing to come jumping out at us. Just let me have a peek. Ugh. No, wait. I'll read it. I was told to read it to everyone.
Oh shit. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out of Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go.
Hideyoshi-san, you can't use force against a child. Jesus. Maria-chan, where did you get this envelope? Oh. I got it from Beatrice when she gave me the umbrella.
Yikes.
She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. I'm the witch's... I don't even have to say that, it's in English.
Oh, she's the messenger, mate.
Messenger?
Messenger? The almighty witch of the island sure likes to mess around. Battler tried to joke about it, but no one laughed.
I wonder what's inside of it, Maria-chan. Gonna read it.
Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. That sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table where Natsuhi, Kirie, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted in the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushiromiya family crest, and also Kinzo's personal crest. This is the family head's personal crest. I know it from the letters I've received from Kinzo-san before. Without a doubt, this is his wax seal.
Aren't there several things in this mansion bearing that crest? For example, if there was some kind of stamp for wax seals, couldn't someone other than Kinzo-san have used it?
No. Kinzo-san would always use a ring on his finger. His proof of the Ushiromiya family headship when he sealed the wax. This shape and complex design is definitely Kinzo-san's seal.
That is not necessarily so. Anyone in the family must have received a letter from father at least once. You can't eliminate the possibility that someone used that wax as a model to create a fake seal and passed themselves off as father. I agree with Anarchy. No matter how the seal resembles Dad, we can't prove that it's the real thing. So it doesn't prove this envelope came from him. I absolutely agree. I cannot approve of arbitrarily deciding that this letter came from father based solely on the wax seal. Dr. Nanjo, couldn't you use a bit more discretion with your vague words?
Don't insult Nanjo like that. I apologize. It was not my place to speak. One after another, all of the siblings from Kraus on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written in there, that it might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them. Maria, the person who gave you that envelope was the same person who lent you that umbrella, right? I don't know what "ooh" means. Is it true?
Yes.
So, in other words, the witch, Beatrice, gave Maria-chan that envelope along with the umbrella. Maria nodded forcefully. I agree with my husband. It's a dubious letter handed over by some suspicious person. It isn't even worth reading. There's nothing wrong with just reading it, right? Battler said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsuhi heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes.
And then, Beatrice told you to read it after the meal was over. Right, Maria? It's okay, everyone. This envelope didn't come from Grandfather, but from Beatrice. Regardless of who actually wrote it, why can't we just hear what's inside before we decide? That's right. Even if Father didn't necessarily write it, I'll know what's written inside. Maria-chan, I'm sorry I tried to take it from you by force earlier. I apologize. So, will you read it aloud in front of everyone?
Maria,
read it.
Oh.
As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle.
Do you really think it? Or do you think it really did come from Dad? Impossible. Whenever Father has announced something to us in the past, he would always send Genji if he didn't do it directly, correct? I cannot believe that he would use such a joke-like approach. That's right. Maria? A messenger? That definitely doesn't suit Father's taste.
Well, that's true.
Rosa, could this be Maria-chan trying to surprise us by putting on some kind of show?
Maria isn't really a kid who'd be capable of something so thoughtful. Fuck off.
Wow. She's an idiot. Gonna read it. Oh.
The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason her voice seemed different than usual. Everyone went suddenly silent.
Welcome to Rakenjima, members of the Ushiromiya family.
Yikes. Oh, this is that song, dude.
It's Fishy Aroma, mate. We're in Fishy Aroma territory. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family, employed by Kinzo-sama himself.
The alchemist?
Ah, that's crazy. Quiet! I have served him for so many years in accordance with our contract, but on this day, Kinzo-sama has announced the final suspension of that contract. Therefore, I ask that you acknowledge my resignation from the position of family alchemist from this day forth. How foolish! What nonsense!
I can't stand to listen to it.
And now, there is one part of the contract that must be explained to all present. I, Beatrice, lent Kinzo-sama a vast quantity of gold under certain terms.
Oh shit.
One of these terms specifies that all the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of the contract. Furthermore, I am to receive everything of the Ushiromiya family as interest.
Receive everything of the Ushiromiya family.
Damn. Ridiculous. It's been ridiculous from the very beginning.
So it's basically one of those things, right? Doesn't it sound just like one of those contracts with the devil? The contract has expired, so they've come to collect the interest. Isn't she trying to grab some retirement money for her old age or something? What a cheeky witch. Badler-kun, now's not the time to joke around. Battler made a face as if to ask, if I can't make fun of this, what can I make fun of? Some of the adults' faces were pale, while others looked dazed.
After hearing this, you may feel as though Kinzo-sama has been savagely ruthless. However, Kinzo-sama did append a special clause to the contract so that you would have a chance to preserve your wealth and honor. If and only if that special clause is fulfilled, I will lose my rights to the gold and the interest for all eternity. A special clause? What is it? Special clause. Beatrice retains the right to collect the gold and accumulate interest upon the termination of the contract. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. The collection of the interest will proceed shortly, but if any one of you fulfills the terms of this special clause, I shall return everything, including the portion that has already been collected.
Oh shit.
Furthermore, as the first step in this collection of Kinzo-sama's debt, I have taken possession of all the Ushiromiya family head's ring, which signifies the passage of the Ushiromiya family headship from one individual to another. I ask that you confirm this for yourself by examining the imprint on the wax seal. Are they trying to claim that that's the meaning behind this seal?
Look at his face.
He's pissed. That father would relinquish his ring is unthinkable.
Kraus stared at the sealing wax as if trying to burn a hole through it. Eva and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder. Come to think of it, when we were playing chess, I did have a strange feeling that something was missing from Kinzo-san's finger. Dr. Nanjo, don't say something so careless just because of a vague memory.
We can't prove its authenticity here. Only by asking Father directly can we determine whether he really handed over his ring and whether this letter tells the truth.
That's right. It's just as Kirie-san says. Do you really think Kinzo-san will tell you? After all, that person's thoughts sometimes surpass the bounds of common sense.
No matter what happens, it's still nonsense. In the first place, the illusion of the gold itself is one of Father's tricks. I've already heard enough talk of that gold from the rest of you. This is the witch speaking, right? About how the inheritance and all of the assets will be handed over to the one who finds the gold, right? So maybe Beatrice-sama is Father's legal advisor, or in charge of his funds?
You can't possibly trust some strange person who entrusts such a suspicious paper to a child.
Anarchy, we need you to be frank with us. Is it possible Dad's assets are being managed by someone you don't know? No, that's impossible. As the family head representative, I control all of Father's assets. It should be impossible for anyone to do as they please with them without me knowing it.
So this must mean there are some assets you don't control, right, Kraus-ni-san?
How foolish! Such assets could not possibly exist. Oh, but there is such a thing. An asset of Father's that you don't control.
There is no way such a thing could exist.
No, it does. It's Father's. No, Beatrice's hidden gold. Let's keep it simple. In short, Dad has some trusted confidant that Anarchy doesn't even know about. Furthermore, this person has always been in charge of watching and managing the gold. Or it could be some eccentric rich person who offered him a loan with rules like a devil's contract. Could it be that his confidant called Beatrice is trying to test which of Kinzo's children is most worthy to be financed by her gold?
Kirie's question was one that all the siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinzo's strange epitaph had hung in the hall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time. And while it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something that everyone had hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the thing they'd hoped for had been clearly stated in Beatrice's letter. It clearly specified that everything of the Ushiromiya family would be given to the one who found the gold.
Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden.
Holy fuck.
Father, I know you can hear me. Please respond.
The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Kraus, Rudolph, and sometimes Eva. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and the fabulous dinner that had adorned the table down in the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on and Kinzo's face.
Everyone is calling for you. But what should I do? Leave them. God and my meals both hold silence as a virtue. Should I silence them? There is no need. It does not even reach my ears.
Kinzo enjoyed his food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Kanon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind and to the side of Genji, opened his mouth. Maria-sama apparently received a letter from Beatrice-sama, so I imagine they want to test its authenticity.
Has she started already then? Come, Beatrice. I have no shortage of coins to be wagered. Shall we enjoy this night to the fullest? I don't think I'll lose. Your smile will be mine for all eternity. If I could see it one more time, I wouldn't regret losing my wealth, my honor, or even my life.
Gee, he really wants to just see that smile.
Well then, the roulette has begun to spin. Which pocket will the ball fall into? Noir, Gru, or house takes all. Come, you may begin, Beatrice. I'll show you the power of miracles once more.
Holy shit, things are happening, Callum.
Mate, the letter's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, unless there's some elaborate scheme, it's pretty conclusive in my mind that Beatrice exists.
Do you remember the scene where Kinzo tosses his ring out the window as well?
Ah, that's right. I'd forgotten it until you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, you were more fixated on him offering his children as sacrifices.
The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all memories of dinner from our minds. So, whoever finds the gold gets everything, is that right? Is that what it decreed?
They get everything of the Ushiromiya family. But so like the full inheritance.
But it's just one individual.
Yeah. Well, I guess I mean I guess you could find it in a pair or something, I guess, but then there'd probably be disputes.
Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Aunt Rosa and the other parents, and became increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we kids tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and the distribution of the assets, and completely forgetting that we were even there. I'd already guessed that they'd been talking like this in the shadows, but I hadn't thought they'd be so blunt. It gave all of us kids a considerable shock. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance. Back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found. About advance payments and cash. It was so despicable I could hardly bear to watch, even though one of them was my father. It looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without being asked to, and went to hang out somewhere well away from our parents.
I get it. Now I totally see why grandfather hates coming down for meals. I'm so disillusioned with our parents right now. All that about money and the inheritance. How can they act like that right out in the open?
Well, I'm already completely disillusioned with my old bastard. There's no way I could think any worse of him.
That's exactly the same for me. Still, freaking shocked me. Shocked me to the core.
Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She was always talking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The depths of Jessica's shock made that clear. You know, I think this rain sound effect is the same as the PUBG rain sound effect. It sounds very similar. I mean, I guess rain is rain, but it's ringing a bell. You're all minors being supported by your parents, so you might not understand. Getting money is neither a simple nor a pretty thing. I won't try to force you to understand right now, since you're still kids. But even so, I want you to realize that your parents are just doing their best, in their own way. Oh, great. George Anaki's gotten all mature.
George Nissan, I know you're working hard as a full-fledged member of society. But does that mean you'll turn into a shameless, greedy vulture like our parents whenever you start talking about money and assets?
If it were only for my own benefit, then no, I wouldn't want to do that. However, when your family and your employees, your subordinates and their families are all counting on you, there are some times when you must fight.
I hate that kind of fight. That back and forth about grandfather's inheritance just makes me want to puke.
Jessica pretended to spit violently. That harsh reaction made the depths of her pain very clear. Let's stop talking about this. All this about grandfather's hidden gold, property, and inheritance is our parents' problem, not ours. I agree. At the very least, I think children have a duty to be considerate and stay out of their parents' way when they're talking together.
Sounds pretty boring.
Everyone knows the phrase, adults are filthy. But we had now seen that for ourselves, and that really did give us a considerable shock. George Anarchy was now pretty much an adult, and I'd already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Jessica seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently she'd received a bigger blow than I'd thought. She always talks badly about her parents, but it looks like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even now, she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others. I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else does. And then her parents started raging about going money, inheritance, my money, right in front of all the other parents and the children. It's no surprise she received such a shock from hearing that. Jessica-chan. Please don't start hating your mother and father. I won't ask you to understand them, but at least don't hate them.
I get it. Just leave me alone for a bit.
6 years ago, I would have kept taunting Jessica even after she got all dejected. But I guess I really have grown over the last 6 years. I realized that it'd be better to leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily and left the parlor. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left. Come to think of it, I wonder where Maria-chan went.
Not again.
She's probably pouting in front of that portrait. Maria truly looked up to witches, and she'd expected that, coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving the letter as proof. It would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults had doubted its authenticity, thoroughly bombarding Maria with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it wasn't hard to imagine how much that must have hurt Maria. We couldn't speak to Maria or Jessica. In the end, George Anarchy and I just abandoned ourselves to the sound of the falling rain in the dark night. I wonder what's happening with that typhoon. Maybe there's something about it on the news. George Anarchy started walking over to the corner of the parlour where the television was. He hadn't called me over, and I really couldn't have cared less where the typhoon was on the sea now. So, without going over to the television, I loitered around the window.
The wind hasn't picked up that much here, but I wonder if it's horrible over the sea. I did hear about a severe storm warning on the weather report.
Ah, Kirie-san. I take it those big talks between the adults are going smoothly, yeah? She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Kirie-san shrugged.
I wonder if that stomachache of a discussion will continue all night. It's not going to be fun.
Well then, please enjoy playing vultures to grandfather's property as much as you'd like. I feel sick.
I'll agree with you on that. If I could just slip away like you, I'd do it. Unfortunately, I can't. Even if I'm not allowed to speak, we spouses have it pretty rough too.
Kirei-san took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. They probably wouldn't let Kirei-san speak, since she only married into the family. Still, as Dad's partner, she'd had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. She's probably had to bear the full brunt of this mental pressure much more than me. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I'd spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being. So
how does it... Oh, sorry.
All good.
I just assumed Kirio was speaking.
So how does it look? Are they still stuck on the topic of the mysterious witch, Beatrice?
More or less. Those four siblings are always piling up secret agreements when they come together to discuss the division of grandfather's inheritance. They're saying that some unknown fifth person has appeared and is trying to make things even more complicated. And there's no way that'll make for a peaceful conversation. Just when you think they're snarling at each other, they'll set up a common front. Natsue-ne-san's not the only one getting headaches.
On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want 1 yen to be snatched up by anyone other than the siblings, so they're also all allies. I hadn't been told the details, but the siblings were apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations, setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from getting an unfair advantage, even preparing to resort to legal action if absolutely necessary. That they would go this far to preserve their shares was so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge their resilience. So, basically, Beatrice is like an assassin sent by grandfather. He probably wanted to scare the hell out of his children for talking about the inheritance without him.
Who is this Beatrice, I wonder? If everything she claims is true, then she's a mystery figure that no one knew about until today. And she also knows about grandfather's hidden gold. On top of that, she was even entrusted with the head's ring. She must truly have been trusted by him.
Well, obviously I don't think she's a witch riding around on a broom. But there's no doubt she's a mysterious person who's earned the right to be called a witch.
If only Maria-chan would go into more detail about that. Everyone's been smothering her, even though she's just a little girl. They really scared her, and some of the things they might have asked now can't be asked. I wonder if those people have ever even read The North Wind and the Sun.
What we do know is that Maria received a letter from a person who took the name Beatrice. She sure is shy for a mystery person, entrusting Maria with a letter and hiding away even now, when she could have just appeared and talked to us directly.
Hey, Battler-kun. Do you really think a person called Beatrice actually exists?
Who knows? Doesn't it really seem like a false name? Like she's grandfather's representative, so she was given permission to take the name of the witch from his delusions.
No, that's not what I meant. Right now, there's a total of 18 people here on Rokkenjima. And I love the backing music in these scenes.
Yeah.
Do you really think there's a 19th person?
Are there really a full 18 people on this island right now? Wondering about that, I began counting on my fingers, and it really did come out to that many. Do I think that a 19th person exists? What exactly do you mean?
Just what I said. The person who lent Maria that umbrella supposedly wasn't one of us 18. So, isn't it natural to assume that a 19th person exists? And that this person lent Maria the umbrella?
Well, yeah. It sure looks that way.
Then, where exactly is this person now? At the very least, she must have been on the island when it started raining. And ever since that time, the weather's grown progressively worse. So taking a boat out would be pretty much impossible. In that case, that person must still be on the island, hiding from the rain somewhere. And without any of us spotting her.
Oh, shit. True. We've all been randomly prowling around all over the mansion and the guest house, but no one has bumped into a 19th person. But this island is huge. There might be other places to take shelter from the rain, other than the mansion and the guest house. At about this time, I began to realize what direction Kyrie-san's suspicions were taking us in. Kyrie-san was denying that a 19th person existed. Beatrice was one of us 18. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us.
Beatrice is who she claims. She would surely be the most honored of guests. The most honored of confidants, trusted by grandfather. There's no way grandfather would give that kind of person, there's no way grandfather wouldn't give that kind of person a warm reception. She would surely have been ushered into the mansion. However, we haven't seen anyone like that.
Wait a sec. Isn't this line of reasoning a bit too hasty? Sure, no one spotted this person, but that doesn't mean that you can deny the possibility that a 19th person exists, right? Maybe for some reason they landed on the island stealthily and have been hiding ever since. It's what they call a devil's proof. It's easy to prove that something exists. If this Beatrice appeared in front of us and says hi, then it's settled. But it's impossible to prove that there's no 19th person.
Yes. Battler-kun, your way of reasoning isn't bad. In our current situation, there isn't enough information to either accept or deny that a 19th person exists. But if you spin the chessboard around and think that way, we can deny the existence of a 19th person with near certainty. Yeah, the chess analogies are starting. Let's go.
Spin the chessboard around was one of Kyrie-san's favorite phrases. I've been influenced by those words and use them myself from time to time. When you get stuck trying to find a move in chess or shogi, then by spinning the board around and looking at everything from your opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that'll give you the upper hand. It means turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes.
You see? Let's say that a 19th person called Beatrice actually exists. Person must have managed, without being seen by anyone, to stealthily arrive on this island and remain hidden ever since. Maybe they had some reason, okay? In that case, why did they go to all the trouble of appearing before Maria and handing her the letter?
It really was a contradiction. If they had some reason for hiding themselves, then they should have stayed hidden the whole time. But even so, they had appeared openly in front of Maria. Then... Wait, Maria said it herself. She said the witch made her a messenger. Maybe that's because Maria was the youngest and looked the most obedient.
Why would they need a messenger? If they just wanted a letter delivered to the family conference, they could have mailed it. If they mailed it to each of the 4 siblings, no one would be able to ignore it. There was no need for this person to carry it themselves and secretly deliver it by hand.
I don't know if the characters have remembered that Maria's voice changed when she read the letter. I feel like that's a pretty spooky
well, she
thing
just got like the better vocab, right? Like she did earlier when talking about black magic.
Well, the actual narration said that her voice changed, didn't it?
Yeah, but not like literally changed. Like it's still the same voice actor.
I thought she was possessed.
Well, she could have been possessed, but it was still Maria's voice.
Yeah. It does sound pretty weird.
In the first place, if Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known to everyone, then she could have just openly presented herself to all of us. Despite that, she chose the vague method of appearing through a little girl called Maria-chan, and only gave us a vague impression of who she was. Contradiction. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? She appeared in front of Maria, trying to give us the impression that a 19th person existed, and yet she still hasn't appeared before us, and is hiding somewhere at this very moment. Think about those contradictions. You've got to keep these things in mind when you spin the chessboard around. In short, if a person wants to leave us with the impression that Beatrice exists as the 19th person, what might their goal be?
If this person wanted to hide, then they wouldn't have made their presence known. And if they wanted to show themselves, they wouldn't have used the roundabout approach of entrusting someone with a letter. Which means...
It's simple. Beatrice is one of the 18 people. That's why they want to create the illusion that there are more than 18 people. The 19th person was revealed so spectacularly. If someone were to profit from this, it wouldn't be some 19th person in hiding. It'd be one of the original 18 people.
That's starting to make sense to me.
Of course, this reasoning is full of holes. Spoke too soon. If you turn over even a few of its premises, it simply falls apart. But I'm almost completely certain it's correct.
This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Someone lent Maria the umbrella and handed her the letter. Supposedly, none of the 18 did this, and yet Beatrice was hidden among those 18. What was this person planning? hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice.
I suspected it might have been Maria-chan play acting, but the contents of the message were extremely complicated, and it's hard to imagine Maria-chan writing that herself. However, I can't deny the possibility that Maria-chan is working together with someone.
Wait a sec. Maria's a 9-year-old kid, right? What could she possibly be planning, and with whom? And what about her straightforward, overly honest, obedient nature?
Yes, I also understand what kind of person Maria-chan is. But that's exactly why I think it's possible. That girl's a dreamer who can't help but look up to and blindly accept the existence of witches. So, if a person appeared in front of her and claimed to be the witch, Beatrice, Maria-chan would happily swallow it up, I think.
So you're saying that if someone disguised themselves by wearing that fancy dress from the portrait, tricking Maria wouldn't be that hard?
Of course, with that reasoning, all of us women would become the primary suspects. Anyway, who did Maria-chan encounter? Learning the details of that question would be the best key to solving this riddle.
Maybe it's Kyrie-san, mate.
Oh. I don't know. But this key has been firmly locked away inside Maria-chan's heart. Everyone denied the existence of the witch without listening to her, barraging her too much with questions about who Beatrice actually was. She probably won't open her heart to the adults now.
In the dim hall, in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Maria was sobbing.
No one believes I met Beatrice. Even though I showed them the letter Beatrice gave, they still don't believe. Choking to death in the hallway.
Yeah. Like, I get what Kyrie-san was saying, but how does that square with Kenzo? And because, you know, like, he would have to know who it is, right?
I guess that would be like he definitely is aware of something happening tonight. It's never been explicitly said that he's aware that a letter was sent, I guess, but Anyway, Maria-chan's holding the key. The key to whether Beatrice is one of the 18 people or a 19th person.
Maria's stubborn, right? When that girl gets angry, it's pretty hard to make her feel better.
Battler-kun, I think a kid like you would be better at cheering her up than an adult like me. After she's feeling better, try asking. I know you don't care about all this back and forth about the inheritance. But don't you find this Western Mansion mystery situation exciting? Who in the world is this person who gave Maria-chan the letter? It makes your intellectual curiosity ache.
You're actually pretty tough, considering you're still excited after being dragged through that endless money talk. Adults can be pretty amazing. I shrugged exasperatedly. But I did notice something. Kyrie noticed how dejected I was after overhearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and was probably trying to clear the air. At the very least, I'd recovered enough to voice my complaints. She wasn't my real mother, so I've never felt like calling her mum. But it did make me think. She's a real adult.
Hey, brats. So this is where you were. Kurie, you really took your time fixing your makeup, didn't you? Think I'll make a habit of going out to touch up my makeup too. I'm sorry. A woman's makeup takes a long time. So, how was the discussion? How has the discussion been without me?
I'm sure everything was all peaceful and harmonious. Kyrie-san poked the weak spot under my arm with her elbow.
We decided to take a break to cool our heads a little. It looks like we'll be at it all night. Makes me want to cry.
His way of talking hadn't changed, but he couldn't completely hide his fatigue. I couldn't say I was sympathetic, but he looked pitiful compared to his normal, energetic self.
Still, that rain's just awful. I really don't want to go back to the guest house. Looks like Natsune-san set things up so we could spend the night here in the mansion. What'll we do? We don't need to decide until you're done, right? If you run so low on energy that you can't return to our room, then we can take them up on their offer. You're right. We can think about it later. What about you, Battler?
If I stayed, I'd just get in the way. I'll be nice and go back over there.
Nice see. Will you go back soon?
I don't know. It'd be lonely to head back by myself. I'll gather all the kids and we'll head out.
Okay. You go do that. Also, Battler, you won't be going to sleep that easily tonight, right?
Yeah, I'll probably be up talking with the cousins. Sounds like we'll be up all night. Is there a problem with that?
I see. If you're still awake when the adults' discussion is over, I want to have a little talk as a family.
A what? That doesn't sound like you. Apparently, Kyrie-san was thinking the same thing. What are you talking? Is that you? Is that Kyrie?
Well, that's just Battler, like, narrating Kiri's thoughts.
What are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looked like Kyrie-san didn't have a clue what Dad meant either.
I also want to talk to you about it, Kyrie. I'll tell you later, so don't ask now. Please. Huh?
Huh? I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. And now he's saying we're going to have a talk as a family. Both Kyrie-san and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed.
Don't look so terrified. I'm the one who should be terrified. After all...
At that point, he swallowed his words for an instant, even though putting on airs of importance wasn't much like my dad. You're freaking me out, Dad. Everyone in the family is gathered here now, right? Don't make a big deal out of it and spit it out.
Tonight, I will probably be killed.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ. What?
Bit of an odd thing to say.
The hell? Why did he say that? Who's gonna kill him? Beatrice? Kenzo? Kraus? Hideyoshi? Ava?
Give it a rest, Eva.
What the fuck? That was a mic drop and a half. It was a huge crash of thunder. It must have been really close. Dad's expression, brightly illuminated by the lightning, was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself, and which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail in a way I couldn't really explain. It was so worn out that he looked like a different person.
Huh?
What? What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like you.
I agree. What happened? You look so timid all of a sudden. Not like you. I'm gonna fix my makeup too. Don't follow me.
Dad turned away weakly. After that, only Kyrie and I were left, still wide-eyed. What did he say? Tonight he'll be killed? You don't think that mysterious letter scared him, do you? He's been watching too many serial murder movies. Kyrie-san didn't answer my light-hearted words and continued to stare at my dad's disappearing back.
Butler-kun, when you told Rudolph-san to spill the beans right away, he left without telling us anything. Even though he said he had something to say to both of us, he didn't answer you. Why? Spin the chessboard around. What do you see?
Well, when he said he wanted to talk but then couldn't, that's a contradiction. What? Can you see something by looking from Dad's perspective?
Yes, I can see something. He wants to talk about something. However, he doesn't have the courage to bring it up. So he actually means, chase after me, talk to me, and ask me about it yourself. By saying, don't follow me, he actually means the opposite. He actually means, follow me and force me to answer. Seriously, what a spoiled brat.
What? Can you really call that reasoning? That's ridiculous.
And great private and police detectives deduce the emotions and feelings between men and women? They can't, right? Figuring out the feelings of the opposite sex is even more advanced art than exposing the tricks in difficult crime cases. If you ask me, romance novels have much deeper mysteries than masterpiece mystery novels.
I see. Is that how it is?
I'll stand alongside that spoiled brat. He normally loves to bluff, but tonight he's completely tired out from that heated discussion. He probably wants someone to lean on at the moment. And responding to that need is the role of his partner.
Sounds passionate. Then I'll leave that old bastard in your hands.
Yes, leave it to me.
I called out to Kirie-san's departing back.
What?
I wanted to say thanks. Thanks to you, my gloomy mood has cleared up a lot.
Good. Communication is important.
After answering with a wink, Kirie-san followed after Dad. Oh boy, I might have to have a break.
Break?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do too much more. I think I might like to leave it there.
Right, Matt. Yeah, that conversation is why I like Kyrie the best. By the way, I feel like she shows such like a cool personality in that convo.
Yeah, definitely. That was a cool way of getting to know her, what she was talking about. I don't know what to make of Rudolph's proclamation that he's gonna be killed.
Didn't he say might? He didn't say he would be, right?
Said he'll thinks he'll get killed.
Oh, he thinks he'll get killed.
Yeah, I just have so many questions and very few answers, basically.
Well, it is called the question.
Lots to think about. Lots.
So is there a 19th person? Or is there not?
Oh, I don't know. Like,
have you spun the chessboard around?
Well, like, obviously witches are magical. And this is a work of fiction. So, do we need to assume that magic is real and therefore the logical way of thinking about it doesn't really work? It's like, you know, if Beatrice is real and she is a witch, I don't think her being stuck in the rain outside is really a problem for her. But I don't know if the game wants us... If the game would be more interesting if, you know, if it was actually someone being like a double agent. Because that would be a massive plot twist if we found out that one of the characters was Beatrice, pretending to be Beatrice.
Interesting theory.
And, like, maybe if it was actually magical, like, maybe that would cheapen the mystery a little bit, because, like, a lot can be explained through magic, and you wouldn't feel as satisfied, like, reasoning your way through it, because the rules can be changed, because magic doesn't really have limits. But if you think if you think about it purely from like a logical, objective point of view, then you can actually the mystery is more interesting, I think.
Yeah, for sure, because like anything could be answered with magic, right? Like,
exactly, yeah.
So maybe the right way of thinking about it is there's no magic unless there is literally no other explanation, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. So you've gotta, I guess you gotta, like, think
Don't
outside
stop
the
thinking.
box.
Once you stop thinking, you accept that it's a magical witch, and then the game plays itself.
Yeah. True. Gosh. I think Nanjo's the witch, mate.
Nanjo Beatrice.
Oh, Maria, here's your white umbrella.
I've got a letter from Kinzo too.
And by the way, I'm Beatrice.
Beatrice.
Yeah, definitely fucking not Nanjo. Let's be real.
Nice. All right, you're locking it in. Definitely not Nanjo.
It can't, like, Nanjo. No, Nanjo is the least suspicious out of everyone. But then maybe that's why it's him, because you'll never suspect him.
But you literally did suspect it.
I only suspected him ironically.
Oh, okay. You should take a look at the character blurbs as well at some point.
Oh yeah.
You like click on the portraits. Doesn't have to be on stream, but just maybe in your own time.
Yeah.
Some background information on the characters, or
Rudolph's second wife. Oh well, actually, duh.
yeah.
Because obviously the first was Battler's mum. Maria.
The rare leg shots.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. The plot thickens. I know less and less each time, but that makes it more and more interesting. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Bye-bye.